Let's move on now to my Atlanta Falcons in the 2023 NFL Draft. But before we get into that, Ryan and I, we have a goal of getting to 2,000 subscribers by the start of the NFL season. So if you have not already, hit that subscribe button and ring that bell so you can get notified when we release new content. We have a bunch of material coming out now that the draft is over and heading into part of the offseason going into training camp. So, yeah, you won't want to miss out on any of our Falcons material, NFC South content that's coming out, or just general NFL discussions and debates heading into the 2023 NFL season. So, with that being said, Ryan, let's get into it. Atlanta Falcons. This was definitely 3 months ago when we started this. I never would have guessed. I knew Bijan Robinson was going to be available. I never would have thought that they would have actually done it. I was like, maybe they'll get Jamar Gibbs in the second round if they're feeling frisky, but like Tyler Algier just ran for 1,000 yards. And so at first I didn't really like it, but I see the moves that they made now, and I will say I like this draft. Obviously, in any future NFL draft prediction for the Falcons, Terry Fontenot, I think, puts best player available to like the maximum. It's like, it's like, I mean, it's Bijan Robinson. I mean, especially in today's NFL running back world, there's not too many generational running back talents. So when that name gets put on a guy and it's a general consensus, it's hard not to like, I want this guy on my team. And absolutely props to Terry. I'm super excited about having Bijan on there. I had to trade Tyler Algier out of my dynasty league, unfortunately. So that hurt a little bit, but I got a couple first rounders for him. So, but anyways, that's a totally separate video. I want to hear your thoughts first. Because I figured I'll probably kind of go through most of these as well.
So I think you look at this draft and kind of what the Falcons did in the offseason as a whole, and Arthur Smith wants to run the ball because they brought in Jonnu Smith. They already have Kyle Pitts, and then they have a few other guys that at the tight end position that are big physical athletes, right? And then I think you look at the wide receiver position, and they're lacking maybe a little bit. I think that was one thing I think that they could have addressed, even maybe in the later rounds, was get another wide receiver to add to this group. But they still have Drake London, the first round pick from last year, and then Mac Hollins and Scotty Miller were free agency additions, and then they still have Kadero Hodge, Frank Darby, and a few other guys to kind of complement that. And then Kyle Pitts,
Cordell Patterson will probably start to slide in now as like a gadget. Receiver, running back guy.
And then you also still have Kyle Pitts. They brought in Jonnu Smith, as I already mentioned. So I think they're gonna run the ball probably as much or more than the Titans will. And I think that's exactly what this draft shows. I think they want to play solid defense. They want to be strong in the interior. You look at Matthew Bergeron and then Javon Gwynn from South Carolina, two stout guards, and couple that with the Bijan pick. I think this offense was maybe a couple offensive linemen away from being pretty good last year. And so they go out and they get those guys. And then on the defensive side of the ball, they bring in I keep forgetting the guy's name from New Orleans.
David Onyemata. The defensive lineman,
David Onyemata, Calais Campbell, Bud Dupree. And then you go out and add elite length and size and Zach Harrison in the draft at pick 75. And I like that as well. So they're building a really competitive team. I just think they're going to be trying to win games 20-17 in 2023.
As long as there's a W, I don't really care. As long as there's a W. And that's one thing I think kind of a lot of people forgot about that the 2022 season last year. There were a lot of games that we lost that we lost by one score. If Mariota wasn't the quarterback, and maybe if Ritter was in there getting some reps earlier, and a couple things go their way. The Washington game is another one. Both Saints games that we lost. So there is definitely some talent on this team, both obviously on the field as well, and they've drafted well over these past couple of years. But also, I think coaching and putting the team in the best position to win the game possible. And Arthur Smith has done a really good job. I think last year people say we didn't make the playoffs. that's like Arthur Smith isn't doing a good job. I mean, there's only so much he can do if the talent just isn't up to snuff. He put us in positions to win in a lot of games. We beat a lot of good teams. We beat the 49ers by 2 touchdowns. I know it was earlier on in the season, but we beat the Browns pretty handily. We beat the Buccaneers at the end of the year. That being said, that Bucs team wasn't really that good at the end of the year. So I want to address because I know a lot of people were talking about how we need edge rushers, pass rush, and I love what we did in free agency so that we can do exactly what we did here. Is because I've seen us draft so many defensive linemen or defensive players in the first round because our defense sucks. They have one good year or there's maybe some potential, but then they never pan out. It's kind of just a wasted pick. So I'm glad with all the extra free agency cap space money, we spent it on guys who are proven talents that are, maybe a little bit past the prime of their career. Like if you're looking at, I guess depends on what you define as prime for a defensive lineman. But like Onion Mott, I think is 29 or 30. Calais Campbell, I think, is also in that range. But Dupree's also in that range as well, maybe a little bit older. So it's I think Caden Ellis is starting to get close to that range. So, but they're still like in the prime of their career, like still good, solid athletes to help support Grady Jarrett and can get this pass rush and also younger guys as well. Zach Harrison, I think, is going to come in. He's got super athletic, very little pressure on him to be like the guy. So I think he's going to have great opportunity to succeed. Clark Phillips as well. You're going to have I would think with his size, he might kick into nickel corner. Maybe he can play outside, but I can also maybe see him being nickel as well, which maybe some versatility also. But that being said, I'm glad I think fully solidified the safety or the secondary now, and I think also the defensive line. But getting Bijan and then getting Bergeron, going running back and offensive lineman. I started saying that we need to go offensive line with the 8th overall pick because it was like we've spent so much money on the defensive side of the ball and very little on the offense outside of getting Jonnu Smith and like some minor free agent signings like Matt Collins and Scotty Miller that like we're going to get like the best offensive player here or one of the best offensive players here. And we did. I was thinking more of the offensive line realm with Peter Skoronski, but I'm very happy with Bijan Robinson now in our backfield. And so I've seen a lot of games on cable television with Derrick Henry just running all over people thanks to this Arthur Smith offense. So I'm very confident that he's going to be able to set him up for success. I like the Bergeron pick as well. Initially I would have thought that like Osiris Torrance would have been good. However, I see why they went with Bergeron because he is he is much more athletic, so to say. Osiris Torrance is going to just maul people over, and Bergeron can do that, but Osiris Torrance does it in his personal bubble, while Bergeron can go up to the next level, so to say, and he's much more athletic. Bergeron, and I know, I like how they say. So he played tackle at Syracuse. I think they like there's a potential option that he could play tackle, but like I'm not convinced. I think that they think that was a professional answer that Arthur and Terry Fontenot gave in their press conference. I believe that he's left guard. Like I think it's his left guard position to lose. Personally,
he's slotted in as the starting left guard right now.
Yeah, I see that there. I think everyone is like, no, he's a left guard.
And so I like that pick. I think that there was other guards that they could have targeted without maybe having to trade up. But at the same time, I do like if you would identify a guy that fits your system really well, go up and get him. I don't think the trade that they made cost them that much. But let's go ahead and get into our final grades. We can kind of give our thoughts on this. I gave them a B+. You gave them an A-. Why the A-?
So the I will preface this. This is one of those grades that can absolutely then jump up to an A or an A+ if this pans out. That it is just this is a high risk, amazing reward, like top tier Hall of Fame running back level reward because we all can see that potential in Bijan and also in this offense. It is though now with the modern day NFL. It's just taking a running back 8th overall. I'm not saying that this could have worked out this way, but if and you had a good point too when I make this comparison. Bijan is clearly the much better prospect than Zach Charbonnet. However, if they were wanting to bolster up the running game and also get another 3-down back guy that can help out Algier, and they can have running back by committee like stuff, and also go get a premier offensive lineman, they could have shored up the offensive line by going Skoronski at 8 and then take Charbonnet at 44. If he's available. I understand that is a very specific scenario, but to me though, it's just like this is a big risk. It is definitely a best player mentality, and you know what? I like it. I'm much more optimistic and excited about my draft than maybe some other people's teams on this channel right now who like drafting offensive guards over and over again. That was a shout out to Patriots. We us Falcons fans, we have to take as many Patriots shots as we can. So you have to at least give us that. But in general, though, at first I was very risk adverse to getting Bijan, but now that he's here and like just seeing the potential of what this offense could be, and Drake London can be that AJ Brown when at Tennessee. Kyle Pitts could be that guy. Kyle Pitts and Jonnu Smith combination here. Kyle Pitts is more like a slot receiver-esque. Arthur Smith is a great offensive mind. The opportunities really are endless for this offense. Yeah. Tyler Algier was a 1,000-yard rusher last year, and he didn't even play in the first game. Got very little usage in the first 6-7 games, and then he still made 1,000 yards. Imagine what Bijan's going to be able to do. I think Bijan can do that 1,000 yards while also getting like 500 yards receiving and splitting time with Tyler Algier this year. So there is a lot of potential and very exciting. The minus is just because of if this does go wrong, then we are back to where we started. Essentially.
And so I gave it a B+ because I think you look at it and Bijan is a fantastic talent and probably the best prospect we've seen since Saquon Barkley. If not, he might be better than the prospect of Saquon Barkley. So I liked the player and the fit, right? At 8 overall, it might be a little rich for a running back, but again, you kind of have to do a cost-benefit analysis of like, do you think he'll make it to our next pick? Like, if we trade back, are we willing to lose him in a trade back? So that you have to do that. But then one of my things was you have Drake London as a wide receiver, but not a whole lot else, right? You signed Matt Collins. He was a wide receiver 3 or 4 in Las Vegas last year.
Yeah.
And then Scotty Miller, the speedster from Tampa Bay, is coming over as well. Outside of Drake London, I don't really see an elite receiving option. I know Kyle Pitts is there and he's basically a glorified receiver, but I just think that wide receiver room is a little bit lacking, and that wasn't addressed as well. So that to me is why I gave it a B+. I gave it an above average grade, but
yeah,
I do agree with you. Like if Bijan comes out and has over 2,000 all-purpose yards this year, that's kind of like, okay, well,
that's awesome. Well, yeah. and that's where then to rebuttal, not that I disagree that maybe we could have gotten a late round receiver, but if you go look at those Tennessee Titans teams, you had AJ Brown, and they did draft Corey Davis as well. So, but then outside of that, they had a lot of also other slot receiver guys because a lot of their passing games it's through a lot of their passing opportunities is through play action through the run. So you just need guys that fit your scheme really well. And Drake London, I think, is that guy. I mean, you go watch that Tampa Bay game. There are so many play action plays where then Ritter rolled out, like fake to Algier, rolling out, 15-yard in route or post route or whatever, just like how they used to do with it in Tennessee, and it worked like a charm. I mean, it was perfect. The Bucs also sucked as well, so that helped out a little bit in that example. But it's they can absolutely go and I think maybe make trades. Maybe I think next year's receiver class is going to be better, or maybe they can get some talent in the second round or shoot the first round. I mean. Trade up, get Marvin Harrison Jr. That'd be awesome. So that would be worth it. But we'll just have to kind of see. I saw one comment though, I forgot what it was, but I think another thing that's great about this option as well is now we're going to have this year, and we're going to know if Ritter is the guy or not.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of talent around him. This is, if you put Bergeron in there and he is a hit, which I think he will be, we know Matthews is going to be a hit. Lindstrom's the best guard in the NFL. Caleb McGarry has really stepped up. Maybe got to work on the center a little bit. I think Drew Dahlman was the center last year. It was kind of rotating. I'm trying to remember. But if he can't be successful and be the leader of this team with what they are giving him now with Kyle Pitts, Drake London, now Bijan Robinson, you have Tyler Algier, Cordell Patterson, you signed Matt Collins and Scotty Miller, who are consistent veterans. If you can't do it this year, it's like, then we got to go get Caleb Williams, Drake May, other guys that can go get it, because next year's quarterback class is going to be the class that you want to draft your quarterback in.
Yeah. But let's go ahead. Let's wrap up the Atlanta Falcons draft recap there. Let us know down below what you thought of the Atlanta Falcons draft. Did you like it? Are you excited about Bijan? Do you hate drafting a running back in the top 10? Let us know down below. And while you're down there, hit that like button, subscribe, and smash that bell so you get notified when Tyler and I create new content. And other than that, we will see you guys next time.